Hey, happy 2022 everyone. Welcome back to Fred's Garage. We're going to be working today on a 2000 Firebird. It's my own little toy project, replacing the fuel injectors and fuel pressure regulator. So I've already taken it apart, but it's going to give you a few quick steps on how to get this done. So first thing obviously would be to disconnect your ground battery cable, and you would start by pulling off the fuel lines with the fuel line removal tool and the recirc hose there. Once you get those out of the way, you're going to need to remove your coil pack, and there is a 13mm bolt that goes through the end of this bracket here. It bolts into the bracket for the coil pack, and then there's two 13mm nuts on these studs that you have to remove. Once you get that coil pack lifted and out of the way, get your plug wires off of there so you can do that. Then you're going to be looking at some 10mm nuts that ride on these studs down here. They go through the brackets of the fuel rail that hold the fuel rail on. You've got some wiring harnesses on each side that you have to pop the clips and move the wiring harness over out of the way. So once you get the four 10mm nuts out, you get your wiring harnesses out of the way. On the passenger side, you have to remove the map sensor back here, which sits way back on your intake manifold back here. That's in there with two T27 Torx head screws. Get that out of the way, and harnesses out of the way, all for your nuts off and your rails ready to remove. It does take a little bit of wrestling to get it out. I popped the front two injectors off of mine to help wrestle it out a little easier. We have to just do a little stretching on the thing to get it out. Lifts out, and I've left one injector in here just to show you how to pop these things out. And it's pretty simple. They're held in with a clip, and you can kind of see that right here. You can just simply take a screwdriver and pry that clip off of there, and then you'll just pull the injector right out of the slot here that pops out, and there you have it. Your injectors are out and ready to replace. Also, while you have this thing out, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and replace the fuel regulator here, and that looks like it comes out with snap ring pliers, so we'll do that next. Now we got the snap ring out, and we want to remove the regulator, and it wiggles out of there. You can see this car has been sitting for some time, and there's been some rust and crud develop in the filter of the regulator. It's a good thing we got in here to change this one. Now this fuel regulator has a few pieces to it. Here's the old one, and then here's the new one. And you can see on the new one, there's a small O-ring on the end. It's not on the old one that we pulled out. That's because it's still down in the body of the fuel rail here. So we need to make sure that we take a pick and fish that out of there before we stick the new regulator in, so we don't have seating problems with that. Okay, we managed to get the fuel regulator replaced, cleaned out the housing and seating areas, and got her punched back in and secured with the snap ring. And it's time to install the injectors. I purchased some rebuilt injectors from a shop in Florida. It says Your Injector Shop out of Castleberry, Florida. And come nicely packaged. They're flow tested, matched, and packaged nicely and lubed up. Looks like they're just ready to punch in, so we'll get those punched in, get the clips seated on them, and we'll be ready to put the rail back into the car. Okay, so I just want to show you how simple these things are to snap back in. Of course, the rail is upside down on the table. It would actually go in the car this way. We got her upside down here. You're going to take, you've got your harness outlet here on the injector. You're going to take that, make sure it's facing out to where the wiring can get to it. Just slip her down in the hole there. And then you're going to take one of these clips and slide it into place. Locks right in there. And that's really all there is to installing the injector to the fuel rail.